Hey guys, welcome back to the word problem section. So let's go through some of these word problems and try to identify the variables and the two equations, knowing that you can then actually solve either using elimination or substitution, and you should always check it using Desmos. Okay, so the first one says a library is having a book sale to raise money. Hardcover books cost $4 each and paperback books cost $2 each. A person spends $26 for 8 books. How many hardcover books did she purchase? So our let statement is going to be, let's let X be the hardcover books, and let's let Y be our paperbacks. Okay? With that, we know we have two variables. We're going to have to find two equations in the words. So if hardcover books cost $4 each, and paperback books cost $2 each, and they spend $26, we know that 4 times X, however many hardcovers they buy, and 2 times however many paperbacks they buy, will get $26. Okay, so there's our first equation. Now, a lot of times, the second equation is actually pretty easy. It's kind of buried in there. And here it says we're buying 8 books. So that means if we buy X hardcover books and Y paperbacks, we should just get 8. So there's our two equations. So honestly, that's the hard part of it. And now you solve. So since we had elimination today and we learned how to do elimination, let's solve this one with elimination. And I'm going to do that, I think by taking the first one again, you can change it up a little, but I'm going to take the second equation and multiply everything by -2. Okay? Then I get -2x minus 2y is equal to -16. Okay? So when I eliminate my two y's here, I get 4 minus 2 is 2x, and then 26 plus a -16 is going to give me 10. So when I divide by 2, my x is 5. That means I bought 5 hardcover books, and actually I don't even need to figure out how many paperbacks, but if I did, I can plug it back in. Whoops, I don't know where that came from. Okay, plug it back in, and we get 5 plus y is equal to 8, so our y would be 3. Okay, but in this case, we only need to know how many hardcover books, so the answer would be 5 hardcover books. All right, so moving on to the next one. Let's get this out of here. Oops, close that out. I don't know what that's from. Get that. Get rid of that. Okay. Going on to the next word problem. Dan bought 7 writing utensils for a total of $30.90. Pens cost $5.10 and pencils cost $2.70. How many of each writing utensil did he buy? So our last statement here is going to be X is going to be pens, and let's do our Y being pencils. Okay, and I'm using X and Y simply because it's actually easier to check with Desmos, because you need to use your X and Y variables for Desmos. So since he bought, let's look at the money. Okay, pens are $5.10, so $5.10 for X, and pencils are $2.70 for our Y, and he's going to buy a total of $30.90. Okay, so there's the money. He bought 7 writing utensils. That means pens and pencils would equal 7. So that's the hard part. There's our two equations. In this case, you can either do substitution or elimination. Maybe we'll try substitution for this one because we have two coefficients of 1. So I'm going to solve for x and get x is equal to, x is equal to negative y plus 7. Okay, so we brought the y to the other side, and then we just substitute in there for our x value. So we get 5.1 x plus 2.7 y is going to be $30.90. When I substitute it in, I get 5.1 times 7 minus y, or y minus 7, okay, plus 2.7 y equals $30.90. Okay, we're going to distribute, even though we have a decimal. 35.7 minus 5.1y is going to be, plus 2.7y is going to be $30.09. Not 90 cents, rather. We combine our like terms here, so we're going to get 35.7 minus 2.4y, so negative 5, so we get 2.4y equals 30.9, okay, and then we end up with a negative All right, we bring the 3.27 to the other side by subtracting. We end up with negative 2.4. Y is equal to 4.8. And when we divide by negative 2.4, we end up with y is going to be equal to 2. Okay, so our y is 2. We plug it back in here to get our x. Our x is going to be negative 2 plus 7. So our x is going to be equal to 5. So the answer would be 5 pens. Okay, and our pencils are y, so we would have 2 pencils. And that would be our final answer. All right, looking at number 9. Number 9 is a little complicated. A rectangle has a perimeter of 18 inches. A new rectangle, and this is the picture of a new rectangle right here, is formed by doubling the width and tripling the length as shown. Okay, so the new rectangle has a perimeter of 46 inches. We want to find the length and the width of the new rectangle. So let's look at the original rectangle first, okay? So it looks like our let statement, they already had our W be the width, okay, and our L is the length, okay? All right, so be careful. This is actually an L here, 3L. Okay, so if we had the length and the width here, the original rectangle, the perimeter would be 18 inches, right? So it's 18 inches. Okay, what does that mean? Okay, we've got our let statement. We know we're going to need 2 equations. So when we write our equations, the perimeter actually is all of the sides added together. So don't forget about this side, which is L, and this side, which is W. So if we added them all together, we would get 2 W's plus 2 L's would be equal to 18. There's our first equation. Now our second equation is right here. We've got a 3L on this side because we took this length on the first rectangle and we tripled it. That's how we get 3L. So the other side would also be 3L, and then the other side here would be 2W. So our second equation would actually be 4W plus 6L, and that's going to be 46. So there's our 2 equations, okay? And we can take the top one, I'll use elimination and multiply by negative 2. So when I do that, I'll do it down here. I get negative 4W minus 4L is going to be equal to a negative 36. So when I add these together, I get 2L is equal to 10. So my length is going to be equal to 5. Okay? So I can then plug it back into either equation and get my width. So 2W plus 2 times 5 is 18. So 2W plus 10 is going to be equal to 18. 2W is going to be 8. So our W is 4. Okay? So our W is 4 and our length is 5. But let's look at the question. It's asking find the length and width of a new rectangle. So this is the length and the width of the original rectangle. The new one, the width would be 3 times the length, so 3 times 5, which would be 15. Oh, that would be that would be the length. Messing that up. Okay, so the length would be 3 times 5, which would be 15 inches. And the width would be 2 times our W, which would be 2 times 4, would be 8 inches. Let's see, does that work? Okay. So if this was 15 and this was 15, that would be 30, 30, 8, and 8 add 16, 30 and 16 is 46, so that would work. Okay? All right, so I'm going to come back and finish. Okay, so moving on, number 10. A sports equipment store is having a sale on soccer balls. A soccer coach purchases 10 soccer balls and 2 soccer bags for $155. Another soccer coach purchases 12 soccer balls and 3 soccer bags for $189. Find the cost of a soccer ball and the cost of a soccer ball bag. So in that statement, if we start out, we're going to let X be the soccer balls, and then your Y can be, right? So if the soccer coach purchases 10 balls, that would be 10X, and 2 bags, 2Y for $155. Another soccer coach purchases 12 soccer balls, so 12X, and 3Y, and that's going to be $189. So there's your 2 equations and your 2 variables. Okay, so I'm going to use elimination. So I'm going to take the top equation and multiply by negative 3. And that way I'd get negative 6y there, and I'm going to take the bottom and multiply by 2. So if I did that, I would get negative 30x minus 6y is going to be equal to negative 465. So that was the top equation multiplied by negative 3. The bottom equation, we get 24, whoops, I forgot my x here, negative 30x minus 6y. Then I would get 24x plus 6y is going to be equal to 378. Okay, so when I eliminate my y's there, I end up with negative 6x is going to be equal to negative 87 divided by negative 6. My x is going to be equal to $14.50, or 14.5. Okay, so we found the cost of the soccer balls, and then we plug it back in to get the cost of, so we found our x. We plug it back in, and we can plug it right back into this one right here. Either one doesn't matter. So 10 times 14.5 plus the 2y is equal to 155. So 145 plus 2y is equal to 155. 2y is going to be equal to 10. Our y is going to be equal to 5. So we would have $14.50 for the balls, and we would have $5 for that. Okay, here's our answer there. All right, the last word problem that we have is number 11. The website allows users to download individual songs or an entire album. All songs cost the same to download. All albums cost the same to download. Brian pays $14.94 to download 5 songs and 1 album. Seth pays $22.95 to download 3 songs and 2 albums. How much does the website charge to download a song, and how much for the album? So let's let X be the album, and let's let Y be the song. All right, so let's try to figure out our 2 equations. So he's downloading 5 songs, so 5Y and 1 album, and that would be $14.94. And then Seth pays, let's see, three songs, so he's got 3Y and 2X, and that would be $22.95. Okay, so we can do this by, let's see, we could actually solve. We could either look at solving for X, or we could do elimination. We can eliminate. Let's actually solve for X. So when we solve for X, we're going to get X is going to be equal. Actually, no, let's just see. Let me multiply everything by 2. Okay. So, yeah, if we go through and multiply everything at the top by 2, that might work out. We'll do elimination. So I'm going to do that down here. Actually, I'm going to multiply by negative 2. So I'm going to get negative 10y minus 2x is going to be equal to negative $29.88. Okay. So now I'm looking at these 2, and I eliminate. Your 2x's eliminate. And then we're going to be left with negative 7y is going to be equal to negative 693. And then when we divide by negative 7, our y is going to be equal to 99 cents. So the songs will be 99 cents a song. And to get the album, we can just plug it back in here. 5 times 99 plus our x is going to be equal to $14.94. So then this would be $4.94 plus x is equal to $14.94. All right, and when we subtract it out, we're going to get x is equal to $9.99. Subtract that. Oops, my pen's not working right now. Let's try this. Here we go. X does not like it. Okay, x should be equal to $9.99. Let's work it up here. Oh, wait, right here. So $9.99 an album. What's wrong with the pen? Okay, that helped. So again, with the word problems, identify your variables and then your 2 equations.